Hello everybody, I've got another unboxing for you. This time we've got Trench Club by PK3 Games. I don't know why I picked this up, to be honest, but I saw it in a news post on the Armchair Dragoon site, and I looked at it and I checked it out, and I was really impressed with the components and the overall design as well as the gameplay. And if you're a hardcore wargamer, you're probably not going to like this at all. It's pretty Axis and Allies-ish, and it's definitely a dice checker. And in that case, you might want to just stop watching now. But if you want to look at cool components, then please do keep watching. So this is designed by Philip K. Berger. During the First World War, France and Britain wrestled with Germany and Austria-Hungary for dominance of a decisive section of the front. Take on the role of a general and send your troops into battle. Barrage enemy units with artillery fire and flank them with your tanks and infantry, or surround and annihilate them. Trench Club is a complete strategy game in which, in addition to the attack strength and armor of the troops, their tactical setup, combat experience, damage, and terrain have a decisive influence on the outcome of the battle. Since each unit brings its own strengths, you must cleverly assemble your army to win victory over your opponents. And this is the Hero Edition. It is not the base version, so this has got some extra pieces to it. It's got, I think, commando units, maybe a few other extra goodies in there as well. I just thought if I'm going to go in, I might as well go all in on this and see what I can see. And it's also interesting to note that I haven't seen any unboxing videos for this on Board Game Geek yet, or at least not English ones, I should say. So this should be a first, unless there's been like 10 posted since I ordered this game a couple of days ago. All right, so let's open this up and see what we got here. I do like the artwork on the top here, although a Fokker strafing a tank, I don't know how effective that actually would be, but that might be indicative of how the game plays. Who knows? Okay, so first off, we've got a counter sheet here. Looks like control markers probably. So Austria-Hungary, Germany, France, Great Britain, I believe. Minefield indicators, number counters, and then it looks like, I don't know what these are. They look like the pieces in the game, but I don't know why there would be a need for iconed markers for those. Whoops, I hate when that happens. I always got to try to pop it back in really carefully, and then I end up popping out another one. All right, there we go. Okay, so next is the game board. Wow, it's nice and heavy. Nice hard mounted board. Let me see if I can get some of this into the camera shot. It is two-sided, as you can probably tell here. Oh boy, this is a mess. Let me get this off camera here. It's not necessarily a mess, as it is my manipulating of the map. I hate to knock the camera over by doing this. All right, here we go. I do like the board. It's very general. This is pretty much a good. This is in no way near the entire size of the map, because there's another half a board over here and all over around. But this will give you a good idea of what we're looking at. A bunch of fortresses, bridges, clear terrain, roads as well. It looks like it's all been. It looks very hand drawn as opposed to being used by a or being generated by a like Illustrator with sharp vector graphics. This is definitely a passion drawing here. I say that just because that would have taken some major effort to create. Now let's look on the other side. This is a winter map. It looks like a town in the middle, river going out to three ends, bunch of roads, forest, bridges, clear, and that's interesting. I like this side of the map better. It's cleaner, much more clear. But hey, I wonder if there's like rules for winter weather effects, perhaps. And it looks like here we have some general player aids. Let's open this up. There's an easy way to do that without having to cut it. Yeah, here we go. These, I should say, are the game tokens, or the game tokens. These are the actual game pieces. And these different cylinders represent damage and experience. And I believe the more damage you take, the less dice you can throw. The more experience you have, I think affects the actual number that you need to roll, equal to or less than, in order to get a hit. We've got troop transport trucks, anti-aircraft, infantry mounted, heavy infantry, howitzers, heavy mortars, armored cars, let's see, Charon, I think, tank Saint-Chamond, fighter aircraft Morane, and tank Renault FI-17 or F-117. And I think it just might be, it's the same thing on the back, just German, or excuse me, no, French. No, wait, that looks like German words. Maybe this is the Austro-Hungarian symbol. I don't know. That's interesting. Well, hang on. So there's that. Oh, here we go. That is definitely Germany. And that's Germany as well, which is interesting. Is it the same thing on both sides? Tank, Big Bertha, fighter aircraft Fokker, armored car, field gun, infantry mounted, heavy infantry. So it's kind of similar units, but maybe there's a few differences here. Sturmgeschütz, schwere Mortar, so heavy mortar, schwere infantry, heavy infantry. Oh, it's just the same thing. Okay. Exact same things, just in German and in English. Okay, well, that makes sense. And I suppose that's the same thing over here then. I just did not catch that before. I guess. I don't know. That's interesting. These are the Austria-Hungary ones. And yeah, tanks, fighter aircraft, anti-tank guns, etc. So yeah, it's all pretty much the same thing. And then English, yep, same thing, same units, just different names, different types of tanks and different fighters. But that's to be expected, and actually kind of cool. It's not all the exact same type of units like in Axis and Allies, say, or in the base Axis and Allies, I should say. So here we have a quick reference. These are the game phases. It's my understanding you move troops, name your attacks, conduct combat, collect money, which is in the form of war bonds, and this is based on the number of fortresses that you have under your control. Repair units, so you spend money to repair units, and then any money you have left over, if you wish, buy new units. Movement rules, combat rules. It's kind of an interesting system. As I mentioned before, the damage indicates the number of dice that you can throw. So if you've got a unit with 4 or 3 cylinders of damage, it can throw 8 dice. If it's undamaged, 12. If it's got 5 cylinders, it can throw 5 dice, and etc. So that's kind of cool. I like that little effect. It'll be interesting to see how fiddly it is to keep track of all these little cylinders. I mean, it seems a little much. Here are the cylinders in question, actually, and they're very tiny too. That's kind of an off-put thing there. I don't know. My fingers are kind of fat. I don't know that I'll be able to handle that, so we'll have to see how that works. All right, so experience affects the hit probability. You roll your dice, you got to roll the number indicated on experience or less to get a hit. The number of hits cause damage, and then you mark the units that are hit, and then I think you gain experience for that as well. Same information on the back, but it's in German. That's interesting. All right, so Krieggesetze, I think is what that says. Are these rules in German? Perhaps they are. Yes, they are. These are rules in Deutsch. In German, I am not going to even look at that. I used to do much better with German back in high school, in college, when I was taking it as classes. But now I can only count and curse in German, so I don't think that's going to help me there. So the rule book itself is, let's see how many pages we've got here. 15 pages. 15th page has a rule variance, overview of troops and trivia. That's probably extra stuff you don't have to concern yourself with for learning the game anyway. End of turn, so we're going to page 12. So 12 pages of rules, nice glossy finish to the pages, but it's much more substantial than like a magazine would feel. This is kind of good material here. I did read through these rules online, and I got to warn you, it's not really a warning so much as an observation. As a tech writer, instructional designer, I can say that, I've come across all kinds of writing and skills, and I've done this for the gaming industry for a while too. This was written by somebody who I don't think English was their native language. So there's phrases used here that you can understand, but it doesn't make sense. It probably wouldn't be the way I would say do it, or, somebody else might. I could be totally wrong about that, but just looking at it is kind of like, oh, okay, some of the phrases here are a little odd, but it's nothing that's not clear. So I want to make sure that's emphasized. It's easy enough to understand all those kind of things, phraseology, words used, whatever. It's not that big of a deal at all. So don't let that hold you back from trying to buy the game and play it if you're interested in doing that. So as you can see, full color examples throughout. And it's one column, just one straight column down the page, and I think it's easily absorbable. So there we go. Now let's look at the units. We've got, let me just take them out here. It'll be easier to show them. Actually, let me do these German units. It might be easier on camera to see them. Always fun trying to open new bags. Alright, so maybe we can get a nice little cross section of units. Maybe they got different ones in these two bags, or maybe they got the same ones throughout, but let's take a look here. Alright, so here we have a mounted infantry unit, what it calls mounted infantry instead of cavalry, which is interesting. Looks like we've got an anti-aircraft truck perhaps right there. And you can see the two pillars, sticks, for lack of a better word, that you would put the cylinders on to measure their health as well as their experience. Here we have a heavy machine gunner unit. I do like the molding. They are pretty cool. Not sure that these look really that cool sticking up, but again, I looked at it and I thought that's not too bad. I can deal with that. That is probably a heavy mortar or an artillery unit, perhaps. And hey, there's a Fokker, a nice triplane. Who is that? No, it is not. I thought I was seeing the German cross on the tail, but it is not there. Let me open this one up now. Maybe we can see a tank. Looks like we've got armored cars. I've got another fighter. Try not to mix these up too much. Oh, there's an artillery piece. That looks more like an artillery piece there. So that other one must have been a mortar. And then there is a armored car. I like the molding. That looks pretty accurate for a World War I armored car. What else do we have here? Another machine gun, and we've got, oh boy. Okay. Well, we've got extra little stands here. I hope those didn't fall off of something in here. And if I look at them, they look okay. So oh well, actually no. Looks like some of these fell off. Oh, that's just beautiful. So there's a cavalry unit that looks like it's bent up a little bit. Oh man, this stinks. Hopefully not. Well, okay, so, okay, maybe I saw this wrong. So there's a truck. It looks like an infantry truck. And it only has one stick on it. I thought it might have been broken there. But I'm seeing this little thing here, and I don't know what that goes to. No, I guess not. I guess they're not damaged. Interesting. All right, well, here's a tank, a German tank. Looks very much like a German tank from World War I. And then here's an infantry unit. So I guess these did come pretty well stored. Hopefully I can put these back into the bags with no issue. I hate to pull all of these out, but you kind of get the idea. There's an Allied tank right there. So different designs for the different sides. These are probably a little bit easier to see. There's another tank right here, if you can see that. I'm not sure what the extras are that come in the Hero Edition. Maybe there's another, nope, there isn't. Okay. I've got this insert, and then looks like that's about it. So we've got the experience boards, it looks like. Player boards, player aids, perhaps. Here are some money. Some, I forget what they call it, money. What do they call it? Oh, war bonds. Duh. I just said it a little bit ago. We've got a hourglass. Interesting. I didn't know there was a time limit in the game. I must have missed something. And then here are, okay, this is definitely an inclusion of the hero edition of this game, so I do have the right version. These are bunkers. You saw them on the map. They're rather large. They take up 4 hexes, as you can see here. I guess that's on the normal version of the game, but if you splurge for this, then you get these nice, big, thick bunker pieces. And they would probably just sit on the map, right in those spaces, like so. Adds a little bit of depth to it. That's kind of cool. I like that. Whether it's worth the extra cost is your mileage may vary. I believe this was just north of 100 US. The other version, I believe, is 60 or 70 perhaps. So you're paying about $30 for these extra components. I believe, like I said, there's supposed to be some, I read there were commando ones and some other extra pieces, but maybe they just had an extra bag in here. Maybe that's why we've got 2 bags here. And that's part of what you're paying for. So that is my ignorance speaking there. I'm just not quite sure. I mean, I read it. I know I compared the two. I just can't remember for this video. I should have remembered that. I'm really wondering what these things go to. I don't see any pieces here. Maybe they're just extra stands in case something like this happens and they break maybe and you can glue them back on. I have no idea. Well, anyway, that is Trench Club by PK3 Games. A very interesting game that looks like it's going to be kind of a dice chucking slugfest based in World War I. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.